Let's begin by coming into a comfortable seat. And once you arrive, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and a long breath out through your mouth. Allow your shoulders to soften, the back of your eyes as you start to sit up a little bit taller, lengthening your spine. And then lower your right ear to your right shoulder and draw your chin in towards your chest and bring your left ear to your left shoulder. And start to rock your head from side to side, opening up the sides of your neck. If it feels good, you can start to draw some big circles, moving your head all the way back and around. And starting to move in both directions, right and left. And then inhale, come all the way back up to seated, head stacks on top of shoulders. As you inhale, circle your arms up overhead and allow your palms to meet. Exhale, pull your hands to your heart. Samastitihi. Good. Bring your hands forward out in front of you and turn your palms to face the sky. Engage your triceps or the bottom of the arms, and then start to lift your hands up overhead, but stop when you get to just about forehead height. Try to draw the shoulder blades down your back so you broaden your collarbones and pull the floating ribs in. Lift your hands all the way up overhead, keeping your shoulder heads drawing down. Now turn your palms towards the sky and lengthen all four sides of your torso. Take another deep breath. And then exhale, lower your hands down. Come forward onto your hands and to your knees. And send your right foot back behind you and your left hand forward in a handshake position. Press down into your right hand and lift your low belly up as you extend from your right heel to your left fingertips. And take another breath. And then exhale, switch. Lower your right knee and left hand down. And then send your left foot back and your right hand forward in a handshake position. As you do this, try to press into the index knuckle of your left palm, engaging your left arm, and roll your inner left thigh towards the sky. Take another breath. And then exhale, lower your right hand and left knee down. Tuck your toes under and lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog pose. Inhale, shift forward into plank pose. Shoulder blades down the back as your low belly lifts. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward into plank pose. Feel your legs energize. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward into plank. Exhale, lower halfway down chaturanga. And then lower all the way down to the mat. Release the tops of your feet onto the floor and then inhale, lift your chest for Bhujangasana Cobra pose. Exhale, lower your chest back down to the mat. Inhale, peel your heart up off the floor. Hug your elbows in, take a deep breath in. And then exhale, lower your chest back down to the floor. Now inhale. Tuck your toes, lift your knees and quads. Press your hands firmly down into the floor so you can press to plank pose. And pull your hips back into downward facing dog. Step forward between your hands. Bring your feet hips width and distance. Grab opposite elbows. Uttanasana, forward fold. Spread your toes, allow the crown of your head to melt towards the mat, bending your knees perhaps to release your lower back. Now lower your hands down to the mat and roll all the way up to stand. As you inhale, circle your arms overhead, and then exhale, hands pull in towards your heart. Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, reach your arms overhead, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step back to plank pose and lowered chaturanga. Cobra, or turn to the tops of your feet for Urdhva Mukha, upward facing dog. And then exhale, belly pulls you back, downward facing dog. Continue to root down into the index knuckle of your palms, lifting your forearms up and wrapping your triceps back. Creating that nice shelf across your shoulders as your low belly lifts. Now feel your inner thighs roll back, coming into neutral standing in your hips. Come high onto your toes, bend your knees, step or hop forward between your hands. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand, arms circle up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms reach overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Plant your hands, step or hop back to bent elbows, chaturanga. Cobra or upward facing dog, breathing in. And then exhale, press down to lift back. Downward facing dog. Soften your eyes, relax your jaw, and connect to your breath. Come high onto your toes, bend your knees, step or hop forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, hands pull in towards your heart. Now bend your knees into Utkatasana, chair pose. Pull your hips back and hug the navel center in towards the spine. Exhale, forward fold, straightening the legs. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant your palms, and then make your way through a vinyasa. Or if you like, you can always skip those and go straight into downward facing dog pose. Inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky and lower your right hip next to the left so your hips are neutral. Exhale, knee to nose, tiger's pose. Inhale the right foot up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, tiger's pose. Inhale your right foot up and back, and then exhale, step your right foot all the way through between your hands and reach your arms to the sky for crescent. Bend your back knee a little bit to bring your left hip even with the right. Once again, finding neutral in your hips. Squeeze your outer hips in and lift your frontal hip bones up. Exhale, lower your hands to the mat, and then lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, the left leg will rise. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, tiger's pose. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, step your left foot through and lift your arms all the way up. Crescent pose. Once again, maybe softening the back knee, lunging a little bit more deeply into your front thigh as you root the majority of the weight into your left heel. Feel that low belly hug in as the tailbone draws in. And then exhale, hands lower down to the mat. Finish that exhale and lower down through a vinyasa, or once again, go straight into downward facing dog. Come high on your toes, bend the knees, step or hop forward. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, bend your knees, sit down nice and low, and then exhale, press to stand, hands to heart. Inhale for chair. Hug your left knee in towards your chest, hovering your left foot up off the mat. Now swing your left foot back into crescent pose. Good. Exhale, lower your hands down to the mat and reach your right arm to the sky to twist. Draw the left shoulder blade onto your back. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot and stack your right foot on top for Vashisthasana. Feel free to lower that left knee down if that feels better in your practice. Exhale, lower your right hand to the mat, Vinyasa, or straight to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky, and then exhale, once again, knee to nose, tiger's pose. Inhale your right foot up and back, and exhale, step your right foot through, crescent pose on the right side again. Now step into your right foot and draw your left knee in towards your chest. Reach your arms to the sky and come into Garudasana, eagle pose. Crossing the left thigh over the right and maybe hooking the foot behind your calf. Right elbow over left to wrap up your arms and then sit down low. Belly hugs in and up as you broaden the space between your shoulder blades. Breathe in there. And slowly unwind, hug your left knee back in towards your chest, and lower your left foot down next to the right, hands to heart. Rest. Inhale for chair pose. Hug your right knee in towards your chest, and then start to swing your right foot back, coming into crescent pose. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, lower your right hand down to the mat and circle your left hand towards the sky. And as you twist, set up your shoulder girdle. Right shoulder blade draws back. As you roll to the outer edge of your right foot, stack your left foot on top, Vashisthasana. Now root into your whole right hand and try to rebound up that right forearm. Draw the low belly in, floating ribs pull in, tailbone draws in. And then exhale, lower your left hand down. Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the left leg will rise. Exhale, knee to nose, tiger's pose. Inhale, your left foot up and back. Exhale, step your foot through, returning into crescent pose. Reach your arms towards the sky. As you exhale, stand into your left foot and draw your right knee in towards your chest. A little tricky of a transition. Cross your right thigh over the left and maybe hook the foot behind your calf or hug it in. Left elbow wraps on top of the right for Garudasana. And then once again, squeeze your inner thighs. Sit down nice and low. Breathe. And allow your gaze to remain fixed on one still spot. Slowly unwind, draw your right knee back in towards your chest, and then exhale, lower your right foot down, hands to your heart. Rest. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Step or hop back through a vinyasa or straight to downward facing dog. Exhale, step your right foot through between your hands and line it up for warrior one. Heels are about hips width and distance apart as you spin your back foot flat. Press into the outer edge of your left foot and lift the arch and inseam as you sink into your front thigh. Lengthen all four sides of your torso. Take another breath. And then exhale, lower your hands down to the mat. And you can move through a vinyasa, chaturanga, to upward facing dog. Or if you like, hold plank. Or meet us back into downward facing dog. Exhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. Warrior one, spin the back foot flat and then reach your arms up towards the sky. Take a breath. And this time straighten out your left leg. And then turn your left toes in so that your feet are parallel. And now turn your heels in and your toes out. So when you bend your knees, you sit down into temple pose. You can hold temple or you can move in and out of the pose by bending and straightening the legs. Feel the navel center hug in as you drop your tailbone and then use your inner thighs to pull yourself back up. Taking a couple of those or just breathing into the hold. Watching the tracking of those knees if you are bending and straightening. And then exhale, turn your toes back towards the top of your mat and step forward into Tadasana. Take a moment to root your feet down, to lift your heart a little higher. Inhale for chair pose. And then exhale, lower your hips all the way down into Navasana, boat pose. Take an inhale in boat, and then exhale, lower halfway down, Ardha Navasana. And lower your feet down and inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, send your feet forward, and then inhale, come back up into boat pose. Exhale, lower halfway down, Ardha Navasana. And then exhale, lower your feet down, lift your arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands forward, send your feet forward, and come back up into boat pose. Exhale, lower halfway down, Ardha Navasana. Lower your feet down, lift your arms overhead. Exhale, lift your shoulder blades up off the mat, and then lift up into Navasana. And then just a few times, Ardha Navasana, Navasana. Ardha Navasana, Navasana. Ardha Navasana, Navasana. Ardha Navasana, Navasana. And cross your shins. Nicely done. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right foot up to the sky. Exhale, step your right foot through and set it up for warrior two. Spin your back foot flat, line up heel to arch. Open up into warrior two. Straighten out your right leg, reach forward through your right hand, and lower your right hand down to your shin or outside your foot, perhaps to a block. Look down, bend your right knee, and return into warrior two. Circle your hands down to frame your front foot. Step back, vinyasa, or downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your left leg up to the sky, and then exhale, step it forward. Warrior two. Straighten out your left leg, shift forward into Trikonasana, triangle pose. Press into the mound of your left big toe. Continue to lift up through your arches. Energizing your legs as you lengthen your spine forward. And then bend your left knee. Come back into warrior two. Exhale, lower your hands down to the floor. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, your right leg will rise. Exhale, step it through, warrior two. Now reverse your warrior, turn your right hand to the sky and stretch back. And then reach down into side angle pose. Right forearm to thigh or right hand outside the foot, traditional side angle. Your left hand can stay up towards the sky or it can reach forward up and over that left ear. Lower your left hand down to the ground. You're going to transition all the way into Vashisthasana, rolling to the outer edge of your left foot. Some of you will take the peace fingers around your right big toe and catch Vashi B. Good. And then let's meet back into downward facing dog pose. If you like, you can take that vinyasa or hold. Inhale, your left leg will lift, and then exhale, step your left foot forward, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior, and then exhale, side angle. Hug your left hip in and under as you reach your right arm towards the sky or forward towards the front of the room, continuing to hollow that right armpit as your right pinkies wrap towards the floor. Hugging the navel center in and up. Take another breath. And then lower your right hand down inside of your left foot. You're going to transition all the way into Vajrasthana, rolling to the outer edge of your right foot. You might catch Vajrasthana B, taking the peace fingers around your left big toes as you reach your left foot towards the sky. And then once again, Vinyasa or straight to downward facing dog pose. And lower your knees down to the mat and come back into tabletop pose. As you inhale, reach your right arm towards the sky, and then exhale, thread your right arm underneath your left shoulder, lowering your right shoulder and ear to the mat. You can send your left hand forward or reach it up and around to grab the inner right thigh. Keeping your hips stacking on top of your knees so that the hips stay neutral while you twist the upper body. And then lower your left hand down to the floor and come back into hands and knees. Inhale, reach your left arm towards the sky, and then exhale, thread that left arm underneath your right shoulder. You can reach your right hand forward or up and around to hook the inner left thigh. Couple of breaths here. Soften around the neck. Release into your shoulders. And then lower your right hand down and come back into tabletop pose. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and then the left. Inhale, lengthen your spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Come all the way up to stand. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. And then exhale, palms come to meet in front of your heart. Bring your hands to your hips, draw your right knee in towards your chest, and take the peace fingers around your right big toe. You can straighten your right leg forward if you have that mobility in your hamstring, but if not, just hug that right knee in. Press into your left foot so you have a strong standing leg. And if you like, take your left hand to the outer thigh or foot and reach your right arm back. Coming into Revolved Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana C. Now come back to center, reach both arms up. And then exhale, start to swing your right leg back into Warrior 3. Roll your inner right thigh up towards the sky. Lift your low belly even as the chest reaches forward. And then step your right foot back and lower your hands down next to your left foot. Great. Shimmy your left foot back. Press your hands down into the mat and then maybe take a few hops into handstand. If you find handstand, try to keep that L in your legs, squeezing your inner thighs before lifting your left foot up next to the right. This might take you a few tries. Feel free to pause the video and take as much time as you need. You can even come to a wall if that feels good in your body. Good, and let's meet back up into Tadasana. Coming into side 2. Right hand to hip, bend your left knee and take the peace fingers around your left big toe. Extend your left leg forward as far as it'll go or keep the knee bent, also fine. Inhale, reach your right arm up towards the sky and grab the outer left thigh or foot as you reach your left arm back. Now continue to press into your right foot so you have a strong standing leg. You'll feel that twist across your shoulders. As you come back to center, keep your leg lifted, reach both arms to the sky. Start to swing your left foot back, but you'll miss the floor coming into Virabhadrasana or Warrior 3. Now it's pretty important to drop your left hip here and squeeze your inner thighs to lift your low belly and your pelvic floor. As you exhale, lower your left foot back down as though you're coming into crescent, but your hands will come down as well. Now, bend your right knee. Exhale, press your hands into the earth and maybe take flight up into a handstand. Keep breathing. Good. And if you found handstand, maybe through a vinyasa, and if not, meet us back in downward facing dog. Good. Let's come to Ustrasana. So lower your knees down and come to stand up on your knees. Tuck your toes under, bring your right hand to your right ankle and start to reach your left arm back. And then sweep that left hand around, grab your left ankle and reach your right arm towards the sky as you reach back. And bring your hands to your lower back. Draw the buttocks towards your knees so you draw the tailbone in. Lift your frontal hip bones and your low belly, and you might just reach your heart up towards the sky. If you have full Ustrasana and you'd like to grab your heels, you could do that as well. Just try not to compress your lower back. See if you can lengthen the lower back and lift your heart higher. And then slowly come all the way back up. And cross your shins. Come onto your sitting bones. Bring your feet forward out in front of you. Bring your hands forward and slowly roll onto your back. Setting up for a bridge pose, feet flat as you lift your hips up, or full wheel. You can bring your hands back alongside your face, press into your hands and your feet, and then lift into wheel pose. Now wherever you are, you can play with lifting one leg, leaving your left foot on the ground, reaching your right foot up towards the sky. And then exhale, switching sides. This will help to activate your hamstrings. You want to feel your hamstrings turn on as you lift that leg. And then exhale, lower all the way down and rest. Knowing that the purpose of this practice isn't really to achieve a particular pose as much as it is to awaken certain muscle groups, energy lines in your body. Breathe into that. And cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Move your left foot over to the left and lower both knees to the right. Just a nice open twist. And then come back to center. Lower your feet down, cross your left ankle over your right thigh, move your right foot over to the right, almost off your mat as you move both knees to the left. If this pose is new for you, you want to feel that right knee in line with your right hip. So you get that extension down the psoas. Good, and then come back to center, hug both knees in towards your chest. Grab the outside edges of your feet, happy baby pose. Rocking from side to side. And then hug your knees into your chest, start to rock forward and back on your mat, and come all the way up to seated. Baddha Konasana, bring the soles of your feet together, let your knees open wide, and then lean your chest forward. Soften your eyes as you root your hips down into the mat. Breathe into your lower back. And come all the way back up to seated. Send your feet forward out in front of you, setting up for Paschimottanasana. Want to lean your chest forward, flex your ankles, pulling your toes back towards your face. Perhaps pull your heart a little bit closer towards your toes. And bow in. Connect to your breath. And slowly in your own time, draw your chin in. Roll all the way onto your back. And come into Shavasana, final rest. And feel free to stay here for as long as you need to rest and recover, to replenish the mind and the body. We'll go ahead and end our practice together right here. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.